Now, I'm not a literary genius, but I used to write for magazines, and now I'm doing videos just for interest, being part of the debate. And I'm against violence. I do not want an uprising in this country. But I can see it coming. People have had enough. Now, you can only push the Englishman so far. Now, in my writings, I've talked about the Bill of Rights, 1689. It was 1688, really, because we were under the tyranny of James II. James II was Catholic. He wouldn't let Protestants have any government jobs. He disarmed the Protestants. That was tyranny. We didn't like it, so we invited his daughter over, Mary, with her husband, William of Orange, to go to take the crown. But the important thing with the Bill of Rights is that it took the power away from the crown. James II said he had the divine right of kings to rule. What he said when? The Bill of Rights puts that into the hands of Parliament. Parliament are then sovereign. The king is the head of the country, and it's a role. He's got no power. So when our king now, Charlie, gets up and makes a speech, it's written by Starmer, or, his minions. Not necessarily written by the king, because he's got to do the government's bidding. If he agrees with it or not, we don't know. But because of the Bill of Rights, he's not allowed to say. Now, we put the crown in the hands of a family, and it's hereditary. And we've done that, and what you have is a Settlement Act. That was in 1700. And the 1700 Act put the crown in the hands of William and Mary, and then put it into James, which was the King of Scotland. I think he was the 6th of Scotland, was he? And James the 1st of England? I think I'm right. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments below. But that then sorted it out. We then got rid of the tyranny. We'd already had the Civil War with Cromwell, but that didn't solve the problem. Wasn't until 1066 that it was all right. Now, I also talk about the tyranny of King John. Now, King John taxed the country so he could go and fight wars in France to maintain Brittany that was owned by the British, which he lost. But that was without the consent of the Privy Council or Parliament. So the barons met King John at Runnymede and made him sign the Magna Carta in 1215. The Magna Carta was said to have been made under duress and repealed. But parts of the original Magna Carta 1215 were repealed in Acts of Parliament at the end of the 1700s. Don't ask me how they do that. There was a second Magna Carta. Now, the Magna Carta that we've got to look at is 1216. And I've put it on my Facebook group called Campaign for the Bill of Rights. And that's got all the old Acts of Parliament on if you want to go through it. Just go through the files. It's there as a reference. It's not there as a discussion group. It's there for a reference that you can take and then use yourself. I'm trying to get a PDF file of all the documents, all the Acts of Parliament put into one. Now, what I'm trying to get to is the argument of why we fly the flag. We are under tyranny of Starmer and the Labour Party. They have 400 MPs, they've got total control of Parliament. But he's making orders and decrees without the consent of Parliament. He sold our islands off without the consent of Parliament. Said he had the royal prerogative. Now, if you take the Bill of Rights and James II, we said the king didn't have the divine right of kings. We took it away from him and put it in Parliament. What's happening now is the Prime Minister is saying that as Prime Minister, he's got the royal prerogative, which is the divine right of kings. Now, we don't like that. Well, that's the way I see it anyway. So, people don't want to revolt. They don't want to go to riots. I don't want to go to riots. I want peaceful demonstrations. Now, we've had the demonstrations outside of migrant hotels, and we've also had the Pink Ladies, which is a very British demonstration, because they're the Pink Ladies. And they banned masks, so that, and they had to wear pink. And they've done a brilliant job. But the problem is, when Antifa turn up, they're all masks. They're all masked up, with balaclavas on. They're then fighting the police, and the press saying, oh look, it's far right. But it's the Pink Ladies. So that'll squash that argument. So people around the country have had enough. And they want to show their disdain to the tyranny of this Labour government. One way they can do that is fly the flag. You're English, you're British, fly the Welsh flag, the dragon, fly the Scottish flag. I can't remember what it's called. In Ireland, you've got St Patrick's Cross, the red one for Northern Ireland. And you fly them with pride. In Northern Ireland, they fly the flag with pride. We only tend to use the flag on sporting events. English football, English rugby. Now, they tried to get rid of the flag before Johnny Wilkinson won our World Cup for rugby. Then everybody had flags on the car. I remember having England flags on the car going in and out of work. Now, we reclaimed that flag and it was stopped. We are now reclaiming that flag for the people. And if you fly the flag, what does it mean? It means that you're British, you're English, you're Welsh, you're Scottish, you're Northern Ireland. And you don't agree with the tyranny of the government without creating a riot. Very British demonstration. Now, what has the government said? Starmer has put it out through his press people that he's going to ban the flag. Now, how can you ban the national flag when you've actually got the legal right to use it? This is tyranny. This is King John, James II, all rolled into one, under Starmer. Starmer thinks he's got the divine right of kings to rule Britain. He is only the Prime Minister. If he was on a ship, he'd be the captain, and he'd have his crew steering the ship wherever it wants to go. But Starmer has not got the divine right of king. That resides with Parliament and the people, because we vote them in, and we made one hell of a big mistake, didn't we? Last July, allowing Starmer to win with so much a majority is our fault, because people wouldn't vote Conservative. We'd had enough of the Conservatives. We didn't like them. Labour didn't really say what they were going to do. You know, they just used how bad the Conservatives were. Now we find that Labour is worse than Tory. So now we've rejected the Tories. We're going to reject Labour at the next election, but we got another 4 years. So we fly the flag to show that we're British. And we don't like the tyranny of the Labour government. That's why I fly the flag. And at least it's peaceful. It's not trying to create a riot. It's making a statement. Now the police took a notice down in Bristol, where I am here. You go under the underpass, and on the top there, it says beep your horn if you don't like Starmer, or some words to that effect. I think it was if you think Starmer's up. You know, and so many people were beeping their horns, the police had to take it down because of the noise. But it's British again. It's people voting with their horns if they're beeping or putting a flag up to vote against the tyranny of the Labour government. That's all it is. And I thank everybody who's put a flag up. Brilliant job. Government, take note. You can only push the Englishman so far. Act of Settlement says, right at the end, the last paragraph, the laws of England are the birthright of the people. So if it's legal to fly our flag, therefore it's our birthright. Okay, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Ian, bye bye for now.